Hello and good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to do the video earlier, but then I, was got, a bit stuck with something. So I hope I will be able to do it now. So I just want to make a very quick video about this former President Bill, thing. People need to understand so that, it will be, better for people. See, it is, first I want to say, it is not illegal and it is not strange. It is not something new to have a former president bill. A former president bill in a, a very simplistic term is a retirement package for a former president. That is a simplistic definition of it. A retirement package for a former president. And this happens all over the world. This happens all over the world. This is not just, common or located or practiced in the West or somewhere in America or in the developed world. This happens everywhere in the world. And it's part of, regular practice. Why? Because it encourages the retirement of, of presidents and also encourages discourages rather the continuous overstay of presidents in office. That is the objective. It discourages the continuous overstay of presidents in office. I would have a problem with the content of the bill. I would have a problem with the amount that is requested. I will have a problem with the, whatever is there. I will have a problem with that. But the idea or the issue or the thought of the objection of, or throwing away the whole bill is stupid. That is stupid because when we do that, it means we are discouraging the very things that we are advocating for. The things like a continuity of, government, transfer of power, term limits, abdication of self-perpetuating, rule, etc., etc. That is what we are discouraging by refusing to accept the very basic norms of democratic governance in the world. The former presidents of the United States are living like presidents in America. All of them, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and the like. Jimmy Carter and all the others before they died, Barack Obama, they live like presidents. The only difference is that they are not in office, but they live like presidents. And that is what makes them, give them the thought of retiring. It's the same, principle with regards to the public service. If there is a good retirement package, the managing director will not want to stay in office or up until after his or her retirement. He or she will retire because there is a retirement package. And that retirement gives way to somebody else to come. And that is transfer of leadership. That is continuity of growth in the institution. But if there is no retirement package, no good retirement package, the managing director or the director or manager will not want to retire. Even if he retires, will request for a contract. And that contract is for him or her to continue holding that office, denying someone who is younger and more able and energetic and more, recent in terms of knowledge and, and up to date with the current realities from taking up the leadership of the institution and moving it forward. That is part of the hindrance that is affecting our country. That is the problem. So we have to have this. Jawara had a retirement package. And he lived like, a former president. He got everything. He got home to live at. He got security. He got free health care. He traveled and all that stuff. And that is how it is done everywhere in the world. Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem when we accepted a car for people that are still in active service of 3 million? We don't have a problem with a vehicle costing 3 million being given to people that are still in active service. Why will we have a problem with providing an opportunity to extinct self-perpetuating rule, to extend the overstay of presidents, to encourage term limits? Why will we have a problem with that? Why should we have a problem with that? Why should we have a problem with that? Why should we have a problem with what will encourage us having in 20 years time 3 former presidents or 2 former presidents? Why will we discourage that? How are we going to, like, say we want to get term limit, we want to have limitation in the stay of the president in office, and at the same time refuse to provide opportunity for that transition? How are we going to get that? How are we going to get that? The people have to understand. You see, rigidity is not good. You could object things, but you have to use rational thought in objecting things. This is an opportunity for us to have a way of forcing the presidents, for them to honor and accept term limits. This bill being passed gives that, audacity to the people, gives that authority to the people to now force Barrow to tell him that now you have a retirement package. There is no other excuse that will keep you, in government, to overstay in government. Because you have a retirement package. Why will you overstay in government? Give an opportunity to someone else to continue from where you stop. That is how governments function. And that is how transition happened in America for 43 presidents. For 43 presidents. You think if in America there was nothing like that, that the president leaves and goes back to become a destitute, they're going to leave office? They're not going to leave office. They're not going to leave office. People need to understand the office of the president is not like, how will I call it? A voluntary job. That is a job, a paid job. That is an employment. And a job that Gambian people employ the person by way of election. By way of election. So if someone that is employed in the civil service or public service works to retirement and retires and gets a retirement package, it makes no sense. In fact, it is stupid to say that the one that is being elected and given the responsibility to govern the country should not be given a retirement package, should just go and maybe get another job. That is stupid. That is stupid. People need to understand how the world functions. And this is not just in Senegal, next door neighbor, have that. The Abdou Diouf, the Ablaye Wadas, all have that. In Ghana, the same. In Sierra Leone, almost all of these, countries that have got transition, get that. Why should it be, something that we will have to object when it is providing us the opportunity to force our presidents to limiting their stay in government? Particularly when we accepted National Assembly members getting vehicle of 3 million. You know how much is 3 million for 3? The president gets $250,000. The president gets $250,000 every month. Every month, $250,000. That is what the president gets. That is what the president gets. Every month, $250,000. And 250,000 times, 12, that is 3 million. That's 3 million. Or even less than 3 million. I'm getting older and my math is going. Let me get this. People have an opportunity to do. So I got that right. I thought I got it wrong. It's 3 million. So the president gets 3 million every year. Per annum, every year 3 million. The National Assembly members bought one car each. Minimum 3 million. And we don't have a problem with the National Assembly members buying a car for 3 million, which will depreciate in cost in a year or two. But the opportunity that provides us the way of forcing the presidents to end, and not just overstay, but to end whoever is there doing corruption, to limit the corruption. Because if the person is there for 10 years and has been doing corruption, you get him out, you put a stop to that corruption. You have that opportunity and you said, no, that shouldn't be. Now the problem is, people have taken opposition to be something like enmity, and that is not correct. In America, there is what we call bipartisan, bills that come to benefit the whole nation, and it gets bipartisan vote. But it's not like this bill comes from government, and the government is headed by these people. We have to object the bill. This bill comes from this side. We have to object the bill because it's not coming from government. That is not how government functions. That is not how government functions. And that is not how National Assembly members should function. National Assembly members, as soon as they get into the chambers, they are no more representatives of political parties, but representatives of the entire citizenry. And in being representative of the entire citizenry, they are there to scrutinize bills. Those that are to the interest of the greater public, they pass that bill. The ones that are not to the good of the greater public, they scrutinize. If they think it has to be completely revoked, they reject everything. If they think something has to be reduced from it, they reduce that. That is how National Assemblies work. That is now how, Congress function. That is how Congress function. But not in the Gambia as how we've seen it. Because the NPP government brought a bill, the UDP and everybody will reject that bill. The UDP tables a bill, NPP will reject that bill. That is stupid. That is not 21st century politics. That is not 21st century politics. That is very outdated. It is very outdated politics. The National Assembly is for all of us. Is the people that have to advocate for us. They have to advocate for us, and in their advocacy, they don't have to advocate based on political party lines. That is not how it functions. That is not how it functions. We need to look. You see, like I said, you cannot eat your cake and still want to have the cake. You want to have term limit, and you still don't want to provide the opportunity for term limit. How is that going to work? How is that going to work? It means you're not going to eat the cake. You're not going to eat the cake of the term limit if you do not want to create the way for the implementation of term limit, which is a retirement package. In fact, if you make us an accumulation of all this, it is not true. The amount that is being embezzled in corruption, like Basse Area Council, what they wasted there could pay this amount in 3 or 4 times. We are not bothered about that. The 3 million car that they bought, you know how many people could be, moved out of poverty? How many kids could be given scholarship from primary school to, grade 12 with 3 million? You know how many students at the University of the Gambia could complete 4 years bachelor's degree with that 3 million? And we don't have a problem with that. But we want to have a problem with what will provide us an opportunity to put an end to people overstaying in government. Whether the president, the former president, gets a job, that is his business, and that is his opportunity, his luck, his qualification that could get him that job. That doesn't have to relate with the retirement. It's just like you telling me the managing director that retires and get a retirement package can no more work. If he or she gets another work, the retirement package has to be revoked. That is stupid. How is that possible? How is that possible? That because he retires and he could get another job, he doesn't have to get a retirement package. How is that possible? This is the problem I have. People have to be rational. We don't have to stick to, some nonsensical, political party, affiliation. This is why I have a problem with joining political party. When you join a political party, your independence becomes seized. You can no more think for yourself. They seize your independence, and you stick like a herd of cattle that the one behind will send them wherever he wants to send them to, and that is not good. In the most advanced democracies, people move from they get out of their political party caucus and join the other one to vote against what their political party refused. That happened, and it doesn't put anything bad to them. And that is how government is supposed to function. That is how Congress, National Assembly is supposed to function. There are bills that will come which will be bipartisan, bills that are supported by everyone. There are bills that will come which, all of the parties will refuse the bill because it is not to the interest of the nation, like the judge's bill. Because it is not to the interest of the nation, they reject that. But the bills that come which are to the good of everyone, we encourage that and pass the bill regardless of our political party affiliation. But that is not what is happening in the Gambia. Because you are opposition, you want to remain opposition for the good. But that is what I see. You voting against a bill because you are in opposition. That means you want to remain as an opposition person for the rest of your life. And the same people that voted against this, thing are the people that took vehicles that cost, that could renovate the EFSTH and make it a standard teaching hospital. That could renovate the EFSTH and make it a standard teaching hospital. An amount that could be used to get a good, second-hand ferry for Banjul Barra crossing. An amount that could be used to build a skills training center in Soma or in Farafenni or in Bansang or Janjanbureng or Kerawan. An amount that could be used to, get another campus for the University of the Gambia elsewhere in the hinterland. But they use that for luxury, for vehicle. And they want to complain to people that, a bill that is going to, pave a way for the retirement of the president. Tell them that it's enough. 2 terms, get away. Get out of the way. Give the opportunity to someone else. The retirement package that is going to pave the way to term limit. You said no because you are in opposition. No, because you are in opposition. And this is not a bill that is just, that is just of Gambia or common of Gambia or said of Gambia. This is what is happening all over the world. All over the world. And our former president, Jawara, benefited from the same thing. He benefited from the same thing. He got, saved from destitution in the UK, brought back to Gambia, and he benefited from that until he died. Is that not dignity for the former president? Is that not dignity? Ask the people that knew how Jawara was living in the UK. But you people are the people that don't want us to have former presidents. Things that are very logic-based. Because you are in opposition, you want to, against everything. Because of opposition. We are in an advanced era of politics. People have to do things according to how the world functions. Former presidents will have retirement. That is a privilege that is given to them. Not everybody can be president. Not everybody can be president. It's a privilege that is given to people by the Almighty. It's a privilege. You can't take that away from them. You can't take that away from them. That's a privilege. So, because, someone has become a president and he or she is leaving the presidency, he has to go live as a destitute. That doesn't happen. I'm with Fen. It doesn't happen anywhere. People have to use logic and we need to be rational. We cannot just be opposition for, whatever comes, you say, no, I'm not voting for it because you are opposition. That is nonsense. That is nonsense. The bill is good because it provides the opportunity for us to put pressure on presidents for them to retire because they will not have any excuse. They won't have any excuse. None. They won't have any excuse not to retire. In fact, this bill being passed now, it is now time to pass a 2-term limit and say that 2 terms is enough. No excuse. No excuse at all. 2 terms is enough. If there was a good retirement package for the directors, for the public and civil service, we will not have this extension of contracts, denying young people the opportunity to lead the affairs of the public, enterprises. The old retirees will retire and still be taking contracts. Why? Because there is no retirement package. Because there is no retirement package. That's why they do that. And it's the same thing with the presidency. There's no retirement package, so they decide to stay in there and continue staying until whatever time. And you think that is to our advantage. That is not. It's not to our advantage. So let's stop being, opposition forever. We have to be rational in what we do. And that is very important in life. It's very important. It doesn't matter whether the former president is going to have a job or not have a job. That doesn't matter. It's the work that he has done for the country by serving as president that he has to get a retirement. Whether he gets a job post-retirement, that is his business. He doesn't want to get a job post-retirement, that is his business. But he has to be given a retirement package. Just like you that work in the public or civil service gets a retirement package. It's the same thing. He or she has to get a retirement package. And that is the way we could encourage them to leave office after 2 terms. To leave office after 2 terms. Why you people are so much stick to dogma. Like you want to stick to old-fashioned kind of thinking to the extent that, this I don't even know how to explain this. So it's good that the bill has been passed. And in fact, the people that are against this bill, tomorrow, if Uncle Dabo, I know he is future impossible president. If Uncle Dabo was, the president today in the country, that bill would have been passed straight. That bill would have been passed straight. But because he's not, and but mofingo la kuokoliata. Mofingo la kuokoliata. Because you don't have a former president. You don't want to pass a former president bill because you don't have a former president. And you don't even know the future. You don't know. You want to be president in 2026. How about if Uncle Dabo becomes president in 2026? Even though it is future impossible. If he becomes former president in 2026 and then 2031 he leaves office, what will you say? You will say, I'll below Murdina, bring back the bill that we rejected. I'll ball for it. Bulen you get in wire. I'm all dandy. I'm all dandy. You people, and majority of the people, these people making all this nonsensical noise, live in the West and they understand how things are happening. Obama is living like Joe Biden. You know that? Obama is living like Joe Biden. Bill Clinton is living like Joe Biden. George W. Bush, despite all the human rights violations that they did to the world, they're living like Joe Biden. They're living like Joe Biden. That is why they could leave office. That's why they could leave office. They live like that. They have, eternal. When you say eternal, it means still when they die. They get, complete package. Live like like a president. That's why they call them former president. They don't call them Bill Clinton. They say former president because they had served that position and had the privilege. So don't be outdated people. I can make a local. We need to advance with the world. We need to move as how the world is going and be able to at least have some former presidents. But I'll Bill Tesotla, I'll fanam president no 2 times. Ubakala no nyadi momi ye dima domo nele. Sanji tanga be dima domo kekan. Itoko you want to get that inantako ilafako bandi mari bondi jele. Ayta kucha domo la ta sunna. Ibo mari bondi la dima domo la le. Ayta kucha domo la. Sakomi ya kumase kucha domo la buta kucha domo la ta dima domo la. Sanji tanga be dima domo kan. Iko ibo mari bondi la je ya murundi kucha domo la ta sunna. Wala ne katara je sanji jamal. Ito sunna. Bar ni kay ko ikanata kucha domo mi na ita dima domo la. Ebe tula wolto fo jani ala vitala. Abe je bulala da balon nako kata murla kucha domo la. Abi anaputa nanje da be dima la continue domo la. Wale former presidency siandi sati luto. Wale for Tony Blair of the UK. Go and ask whether Tony Blair doesn't have a retirement package. Al nininka roke for Tony Blair of the UK doesn't have a retirement package. Ala nininka. Al monolben alla UDP monolben UK. Nininka roke for Tony Blair ma retirement package. And Tony Blair is doing his own private business. He has an institution that he's making money from. Ask your people that are in the UK whether Tony Blair is not having a retirement package. Halinika. Yajele kata karambungoto. Aninka karanka lundo soto afatatalde. Kakra karambungoto. Ye lundo soto. Aninka karang afatatalde. Multata jele. Wole kaitul le soto. Ye certificate ol kaitul. Ye wole kafun. Ye koko degree. Ni ko wole ko 1+1. Ye wakala de na fudo. Jani wafule ko 3. Haning amang correct. Ani la certificate will be. Ni ko 5 sentence safe correctly. It has safe no. But ni ko certificate on afena. Ya packet on afena. Wolu tata school le packet le nafi bari man karang. Ita ta karang bongoto le. Ye packet on afena bari man karang. Ika wolle for armchair degree holders. People that have armchair degrees. That is what I told, what is his name again? Lamin Sabali. The UDP Lamin Sabali. He was bluffing, and I told him that I don't discuss with people that have armchair PhD. Armchair PhD. Mono yale ikatadrong. You go thesis. That is not thesis. Thesis me yale you go from the internet. You think it wrong. You think it. You go PhD. Who manka PhD? That is not PhD. So I told him that and he blocked me. But that is the truth. He got an armchair PhD. Nonsense. Karambungo, ni data karambungo, tani grade, idanta grade 9. Min data karambungo, ni danta grade 9 fang. Mol kalo nako, ni data karambungo. Ni danta grade 6 fang, mol kalo nako, idanta grade 6 la bari karantal. Par dol data university le PhD soto. A PhD me nafa. Ka angale kama fang, yemin karang. Yala nakabo grade nursing school, kata for grade 12. Almost 16 years later. 16 years. Kata university bachelor's degree won't fault. That is 20. Master's moon 2 years later maximum. That is 22. PhD maximum minimum 4 to 5 years later. That is 27 years. It is 27 years be kara PhD soto. Haninka letter rosa fi makeno. But niko go certificate la fi bukuba na fi na. Ya bukuba na fi na. You cannot even. You see, I always say this. I said going to school. The most important part of going to school is having the knowledge that will impact positivity in society. Not just you, but in society. Being a change. You are an engineer. You bring new ideas of going about that engineering work. If the road was done this way, and then this way of making the road brought problems, you become an engineer. The knowledge that you gain will make you have a critical thinking of formulating means of dodging that problem, bringing ways that will better that problem. That is the essence of knowledge. That is the essence of going to school. That is in fact the difference of going to school and not going to school. It's not just the certificate. It's not just certificate. Certificate is bullshit. In America, certificate is secondary. What they ask you for is experience. Experience. Certificate is secondary. You could have 1,000 certificates and you don't have the experience to implement the knowledge or the knowledge those certificates signify. It means you are useless. It means you are useless. So people need to understand that we need to reason with the present realities of the world. We need to reason with the way the world is working. We don't have to stick to the past and be very rigid with that. That is not correct. We need to transform as the way the world moves. Falingo kata nyami mul nyanta falina mirul fana nyanta ka falingo nyaman. Logic. You have to have logical way of thinking. I will not have a problem if there was an argument to say the bill is enormous. We have to reduce this. Maybe the former president will have 200 if the current president has 250. The former president should have 2 cooks instead of 4 cooks. The former president should have, 2 security personnel instead of 4 security personnel. The former president should have 2 utility cars instead of 4 utility cars. The former president should have this. That is understandable. That is logic. That is logic. And that is a genuine argument. I will buy that argument. But what I am not going to buy is a complete folding of everything and putting it in a trash bin. Why? Because it didn't come from you. That is illogical. That is illogical and that is not patriotism. That is not patriotism. And this is the problem with our country. People have, and the most painful part of all this is because The most painful part of all this is that it is young people who are going to be the custodians of our government and our institutions and the speakers for everyone tomorrow are the people that are still married to this outdated thought. Young people, people that have got the opportunity to be exposed, they refuse to accept the exposure that they have and want to stick to an outdated thought. How is that going to help our country? I saw people that have gone out to study master's degree. There are people that have gone out to study PhD degree. People that have lived in the West for long, still sticking with this outdated thought because of political party, affiliation. After all, what is the essence of having a political ideology? What is the essence of belonging to a political party if your decision, your choice, your thought is to stick to outdated thoughts that your party wants to stick with, even if it doesn't conform to the present realities, even if it doesn't marry the way the world is existing now? What is the essence? What is the essence? What makes you different from the one that has never gone to school? Munul ka afoko ni kaya ko teng afoko mamal ka nyinekenu. Mfamal ka nyinekenu. What is the difference? What is the difference between you that have gone to school and those that will say, my grandparents used to do it this way? Mamal ka kenuten. What is the difference? If you have gone to school and have got the knowledge and have got the exposure and you still want to stick to tradition, that mamal ka kenuten. And even at the level of our traditional leadership, we have this. People that got very old, like the imams. When the imam gets very old, now cannot do anything, he is given privilege. Go in the community, you see that. He is given privilege. The alcalo is very old, he cannot do, he is given privilege. You see all that. Like I always say, I said the two babs. What we do, the civilization started in Africa. What we do, the practices of leadership and or whatever it is what they took and modified. Ntolta mantara safari. Ntolta mantara safari. Yen tolta leta ya safari ya ke bukot ya murinde ya kukala keteng. Watu ya trantulle ya kumasi kabiring. Ntolla kumasi kabiring. You talk about National Assembly is happening centuries before the Tuareg came to colonize us. What is the essence of a bantaba? Munan na ning kuve kering. Alkalo kakumandiro ke bantabato mobena benji kachaeke kankula roleke. What is that difference with the National Assembly? What is the difference? What is the difference? What is the difference between ye kankula la soto sate kon ning fengo finkeda alkalo ya kumanda afeko afosate mole ko ting. What is the difference between that and a spokesperson? What is the difference? What is the difference? What is the difference between yesate alfalu soto monolialo ndiamo keta moeta reporto kije kuko nin kari le ye problem soto itaje diamoke. That is dispute resolution. What is the difference between these commissions that we have, the ICC and the like? What is the difference? None. None. They got that civilization from us and they put it on black and white and brought it back to us and said, live like this. Live like this. When it is from us. The retirement package, manika kangoto walem bunyat. Is bunya, walem bunyat. Ye mansa yake fo, ye fon yo sign. Ye bunya, ye doko minke. Ye bunya di la u bunya nying. It could be one time. It could be continuous. That is the thing. 4 months of the jibang. Moena doko ke aina sama dole ya. Ay sama doko ke ya fo nin fenko beketa katiro beketa firo keta fabi fenketa. Inyanta kamin dia yo dia be afinka la ka ko nyin samba. Obuka ke bang. Ibuka fa mari te kada doko la dula ko tena do hanin. Bari ka be ko le ya di ya ta di ya fa ko nyin samba. That is the thing. It's the same thing. That's why I said the Tuareg came and pick what we do, our ancestors were doing, and they write it on paper and make it civilization. And make it civilization. When they took it from our respective countries, our societies. That is it. A retirement package is not different from that. Moyena sama dokole ya nitara fo katiro be keta wafiro keta ya doko ya di like asamba. It's not different. Ibu ko mari nyininka, ibu ka fo ko ikata do ko la dula ko tene jari. Ibu ko fay. Because that is not your business. But you can't deal later. That dula do to jari. O mala business sold. So this is the way we have to think. This is the way we have to think. We need to be logical in our way of thought and stick to what is good for the greater population. Ninyo kelo ni fenko wote obam tulle do rambatandila. Ninyo kelo aben to do na batland. Daf ñu nekk di sonal lo rek. Heyante bi duñu yobu fen. Duñu yobu kanam. It's not gonna take us forward. Daf ñu nekk ci coono bi rek la ñoo nekk. Be xawma kañ. Coono bi rek dem kanam dika bo mën di gis muy dem kanam rek mbolo motax mu dem kanam bi ñew mbolo motax dem kanam bi am te ñu mëna sori mbolo te mbolo nekku ne lu ñew rek comme que man bokkuma groupe bobu nonu rek lu ñew rek bëgguma ko even su nekké lu baax bëgguma ko lolu amut fen ñepp ku nekk ko mën di laccé mu naan ne dama bëgg dem America dama bëgg dem Europe dama bëgg dem Europe mbolo mota Europe muna dem kanam mota America muna dem kanam waye nga nek Gambia nga nek Africa nga nan ne bugg len mbolo te buga nek comme America nu muy amé how is it going to happen naka la moy amé so we need to relegate this idea of political nonsense and psychophancy all BS. Get it out there, particularly when you are a National Assembly member. You are into the assembly, stick to doing what is good for the people, not what your political party is. Amun jering. And like I said, you could argue about the content, about the cost of the bill. I will accept. 100% accept. But to say that the whole bill is nonsense, that you have to throw it away because, the former president, blah, 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 blah. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. It means you don't have the essence. You didn't get the essence of going to school. You don't have the good of knowledge. You don't have it. I'm a local. So they may school understand nakala aduna bi neke di do. Do argue because political party may now. The same people accepted a bill that gave $3 million a car to people that don't even bother. They don't even live in those constituencies. Like my Jara Central MP doesn't live there. My people are suffering there. He doesn't even know. He lives in the combo. And he got a vehicle to go there. He doesn't go there. He get a 3 million. My people are suffering there and they're paying taxes. Aleko moto di wala. Alko manka problem oti. Nintakara president alba fla kombe kala dictator te bari. Nti I don't care. Eko ni ko ebe mobe, dia la mobile. Ita fenkela no. Mim fisiatan tul beti Muhammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam mim fisiatan tul beti ay jawul sotle ay mol sotle monal yalon ko wol ko kamam bitiya baro matina tata amanke the best of all beings o matina in dakara president data bitiya ala de ko nyin nonsense so kulbal ya fenko wote kala de. That is not gonna happen. Everybody have to stick to work and do what is good for the nation. Wala bentol sambala lo nyato yaje China molka China mi fo kuluo ani hormo wale China sambanyat wala na America is sleepless about China. Why? Because China is advancing rapidly because of discipline. That's why China is going very fast. Wale yati na China bitaka nyato very fast. Kuluo ani hormo ani bunya yebuluwa hormo kulu. That is very important. But alko hani albe bala firiya jayla drong hani tamin data karangot di karambugo te tamin yala itel nyenta officiala wo dolti munu man takar moto because ye londo soto iti ye bang londo ye min foyi ko hani to kala ito kala kata fen ko tenna fo nonsense almol dahndi. Until then, you have a very good night. Bye bye. Ndamalo mune fomu problem oti Gambia nin ala yentulu warandi nung ay siandi tenata bitial nda kundu la sotla keno nda kundu la sotla e because na kolo si mbe do yare nyamenten ay do yande nyamenten na kolo si ato yama sate mi man fensi problème o kam ta contrôle le fulo e president no falling mo le president no falling fe batata bari sate bitaka nyato Ntole president no falen sinya fula drong. Wakata politiko bay baloti. Politiko bombalo. Lungolum politique. Min fon nat nan pour sate nyatota nko haning. Buka mon bonto lama font. Bitano nyato nyadi de. How are we going to go forward? Almol dandi way. Bye bye. You take care.